So here's a quick example of graphing f of x from f prime of x. So as you can see here, we have a graph of f prime of x. And we want to quickly graph f of x from that, given this initial starting point that's on the graph of f of x. Since f of x is not going to be bound by, vertically by f prime of x, you can shift it up and down, and f prime of x is always going to be the same. So let's just go ahead and start looking. Well, f prime of x from this point up until this x-intercept is negative, so we know that f of x is going to be decreasing up until this point. So I'm just going to plot some random point that is on the same kind of vertical line as this x-intercept on f prime of x. And since I know that f of x is decreasing, I know that this point that I'm going to plot has to be down somewhere down here, since we know this point on f of x, so we know that it has to decrease from this point to some point. And let's say it's over here, and f of x is simply just going to decrease up until that point. And at this point, f prime of x is positive, so it's going to be increasing from this point. And f prime of x here has a local maximum. And what does that mean? Well, when f prime of x has a local maximum or minimum, we know that f of x is going to have an inflection point. So we know there's going to be some inflection point somewhere around, somewhere on this y-axis. So if we go ahead and start graphing it, well, f of x is going to have to be increasing since f prime of x is positive along this interval. So we'll go ahead and draw it increasing, 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 up until we reach the y-axis, because at that point we know there's an inflection point. Since f prime of x is now decreasing, but it's still positive, we know that f of x is going to be increasing, but less and less rapidly, up until we get to this line right here, where the slope changes, where f prime of x changes sign. And we know that when f prime of x changes sign, f of x is going to have a local maximum or minimum. So since f prime of x is positive, it's going to increase, but less and less rapidly, up until we get to this point where there's going to be a local maximum, since f prime of x is changing sign from positive to negative. And from here, it's pretty easy. We can just look at the behavior of the function on the ends. Well, on this end, f prime of x is negative, so the slope, so f of x is going to have to be decreasing. So if we look out from infinity, f of x is going to decrease down to there. And likewise, it's negative on this end. So f prime of x is negative on this end, so f of x is going to have to decrease. So that's a quick video on graphing f of x from f prime of x. And now I guess you could also graph f double prime of x. And if you, to do that, you just kind of visualize f prime of x as f of x, and then you just graph an f prime of x. If you don't know how to graph f prime of x, refer back to the previous video.